Antique Edwardian two-piece dress. Summer dress with double layer skirt, insertion lace, ivory silk ribbon at the waist that ends in a bow at the back. It is in fair condition with spots, discolorations, holes, tear at the waist on the skirt, and all closures are missing. What can we start this at?
45.
45 bit 50 bit 50 bit 50, 45 bit 50 bit 50 bit 50, 45 bit 50 bit 50 bit 50, 45 would have been 50 could have 50 could have 50, 45 bit 50 bit 50 bit 50, 45 bit 50 bit 50 bit 50, all in, all done. Cheap, cheap, cheap. This is the bargain of the day so far, folks. 45 bit $50 going once. 45 bit $50 going twice. Last call. And you got it sold. $45. That went to the Dana Auctions bidder. Folks, everything sells with no reserve. If it gets a bid, it's going to sell. Lot number 9, Edwardian linen and lace gown. It's machine lace, long sleeves. There is a tag on the inside from the John Forsythe, Broadway, New York. This may have been used as a costume. It is in fair condition with some small spots, discoloration. There is loss to the lace and missing closures. What can we start it at?
60.
60 bit, 70 bit, 70 bit, 70, 60 bit, 70, 70 now, 80 bit, 80 bit, 80, 80 bit, 90 bit, 90 bit, 90, 80 bit, 90 bit, 90 bit, 90, 80 bit, 90 bit, 90 bit, 90, 90 now, 100, 100, 100, 90, 100. Doesn't the linen feel absolutely wonderful? 90, 100, 100, 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, 90, would you bid 100, could you give 100, could you go 100? It's heavy too, right?
It's
90,
very heavy.
100, 100, 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, all in, all done. 90 now, $100 going once. 90 now, $100 going twice. Last call. We sold it $90 to the live auctioneer bidder. Lot number 10, this is a real beauty, folks. Antique 19th century, midnight blue, almost black, silk veil, two-piece dress, long sleeves, high neck, good condition. There's a small hole on the left shoulder.
90.
90, 100, 100, 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, 90, would you bid 100, could you give 100, could you go 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, 100, 110 and 110 and 110, 100, 110 and 110 and 110, 100, would you bid 110, could you give 110, could you go 110, 100, 110 and 110 and 110, 100, 110 and 110 and 110. Cheap, 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 folks. We've got an estimate on this for $400 to $800. 100, 110 and 110 and 110, 100, 110 and 110 and 110, 100, would you bid 110, could you go 110, could you go 110, 100, 110 and 110 and 110, all in, all done. 100 now, 110 going once. 100 now, 110 going twice. Last call. We sold it $100. That went to a Dana Auctions bidder. Lot number 11, we have an antique dark wine silk wedding dress. The provenance states that it was worn by a 17-year-old bride in Massachusetts. We have, let's see, there's evidence that the seams were also let out later, possibly for maternity. Silk accommodates a bustle and has a box pleated ruffle. It's in good condition. The skirt is missing the closures. What can we start it at?
130.
130, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, would you bid 140, could you give 140, could you go 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, would you bid 140, could you give 140, could you go 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, all in, all done. 130 now, 140 going once. 130 now, 140 going twice. In time, 140, 150, 150, 150, 150, 160, 160, 160, 150, 160, 160, 160, 150. Would you bid 160? Could you give 160? Could you go 160? 150, 160, 160, 160. 150 now, 160 going once. 150 now, 160 going twice. Last call. 160 now, 170, 170, 170, 170, 180, 180, 180, 170, 180, 180, 180, 170 now, 180 going once. 170 now, 180 going twice. Last call. And we sold it, $170. That went to the that went to the live auctioneer's bidder. Lot number 12, we have an antique gold silk formal dress. It is in one piece. There's lots of tiers, there's a train. The fabric is very, very fragile, possibly weighted silk, with several areas of shattering. It's missing 3 buttons. There's small discoloration. This is definitely not a piece to wear, but just display or possibly pattern. There's some great details in the garment, the lace, the cuffs, I mean, all the pleats and ruffles. It's just absolutely gorgeous. What can we start it at?
100.
100, 110, and 110, and 110, 100, 110, 110 now, 120, 120, 120, 120, 130, 130, 130, 130 now, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, would you bid 140, could you give 140, could you go 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140 now, 150, 150, 150, 140, 150, 150 now, 160, 160, 160, 150, 160, 160, 160, 150, would you bid 160, could you go 160, could you go 160, all in, all done. 160, 170, 170, 170, 160, 170, 170 now, 180, 170, 180, 180, 180, 170, 180, 180, 180, 170, 180, 180, 180, 170, would you bid 180, could you 180, could you go 180, 170 now, 180, 180, 190, 190, 190, 180, 190, 190, 190, 190 now, 200 bid, 200 bid, 200, 190's bid now, 200 bid, 200 bid, 200, 190's bid now, 200, 190, would you bid 200, could you get 200, could you go 200, 190 now, $200 going once. 190 now, $200 going twice. Last call. And we sold it, $190 to the live auctioneer bidder. Lot 13, antique circa 1860s black silk dress. It is in one piece. Beautiful pagoda sleeves on this, folks. This silk is shattering as well, splitting, and is very fragile. The cording is also coming undone around the around the collar. What can we start this at?
30.
30 bid, 35 bid, 35 bid, 35. 30's bid now, 35 bid, 35 bid, 35. Still a great piece to reproduce, folks. 30 bid, 35 bid, 35 bid, 35. 30's the bid now, 35 bid, 35 bid, 35. 30 would you bid 35, could you give 35, could you go 35? 30 bid, 35 bid, 35 bid, 35. All in, all done. Cheap, cheap, cheap. You are not going to find a 19th century gown like this for this kind of money. 30 bid, $35 going once. 30 bid, $35 going twice in time. 35 and now 40 bid, 40 bid, 40. 40 now, 45 bid, 45 bid, 45. 40 is the bid now, 45 bid, 45 bid, 45. 40, would you bid 45? Could you give 45? Could you go 45? All in, all done. 40 bid, $45 going once. 40 bid, $45 going twice. Last call. We sold it for $40. That went to a Dana Auctions bidder. Goodbye there. Circa 1880 2-piece brown print cotton, I think it's cotton dress. Let's see. Oh, this one has the glass buttons with the flies down the center. Look at those cool glass buttons. In good condition with just some minor moisture damage, moisture discoloration. Small hole in the skirt by the waist, and the closure to the skirt is missing. Okay, what can we start it at?
80.
80 bid, 90 bid, 90 bid, 90, 80 bid, 90 bid, 90 bid, 90, 80 bid, 90 bid, 90 bid, 90, 80 bid, 90, 90 now, 100, 100, 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, 90, would you bid 100, could you give 100, could you go 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, 100, 110, and 110, and 110, 100, would you bid 110, could you give 110, 110 now, 120, 120, 120, 110 now, 120, 120, 120, 110 now, 120, 120, 120, 110, would you bid 120, could you give 120, could you go 120, 110 now, 120, 120, 120, all in, all done. 110 now, 120 going once. 110 now, 120 going twice. Last calling time, 120, 130, 130, 130, 120, 130, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 140, 150, 150, 150, 140, 150, 150, 150, 140, would you bid 150? Come on, live auctioneers, get back in there. There you go. 150, 160, 160, 160, 150, 160, 160, 170, 170, 170, 160, 170, 170, 170, 160, would you bid 170? Could you give 170? Could you go 170? 160, 170, 170, 170, all in, all done. 160 now, 170 going once. 160 now, 170 going twice. Last call. Sold. $160. That went to the Dana Auctions bidder. Lot number 15, we have two antique, circa, 19th century silk dress jackets. Includes the red silk with pin tuck embellishments on the bodice with long sleeves. Has a separate collar, fair condition with a section missing from the bottom hem in the front, along with a brown silk dress jacket with long sleeves, fair condition with some silk splitting and a spot.
25.
Thank you. 25 at 30, but 30, but 30. 25 at 30, but 30, but 30. 30 now, 35 at 35, at 35. 35 at 40, but 40, but 40. 35 at 40, but 40, but 40. Oh, it's starting early. You can keep taking the bids, Alan. 40 now, 45, 40 bit 45, 45 and now 50 bit 50 bit 50, 45 bit 50 bit 50 bit 50. 45, would you bid 50, could you give 50, could you go 50, 50 bit 60 bit 60 bit 60, 50 bit 60 bit 60 bit 60, 60 bit 70 bit 70 bit 70, 60, would you bid 70, could you give 70, could you go 70. Come on, live auctioneers, get back in there. I'll give you a second. 60 bit 70 bit 70 bit 70, I have 60 bit 70, 60 bit 70 bit 70 bit 70, 60 bit 70, 70 now 80 bit 80 bit 80, 70 bit 80 bit 80 bit 80, 70 would you bid 80, could you give 80, could you go 80, 70 bit 80 bit 80 bit 80. I know, I'm only on 15 lots and I'm already half a bottle down on water. 70 bit 80 bit 80 bit 80, 70 bit 80 bit 80 bit 80, 70 bit 80 bit 80 bit 80, 70 would you bid 80, could you give 80, could you go 80, 70 bit 80 bit 80 bit 80, all in, all done. 70 bit $80 going once. 70 bit $80 going twice. You're getting 2 for 1 money, folks. Last call. Sold. $70. That went to the Dana Auctions bidder. Lot number 16, we have two antique 19th century printed cotton dress bodices. Includes the blue and black plaid with overprinted blue, black, and pink motifs. Has a it's missing a button and unfinished along the bottom edge, along with a red and black print shirtwaist with detachable collar in good condition.
80.
80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90, 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90, 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90, 80 would you bid 90, could you give 90, could you go 90, 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90, again folks, 2 for 1 money, 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90, 80 bid 90 bid 90 bid 90, 80 would you bid 90, could you give 90, could you go 90, 80 bid 90, 90 now 100, 100, 100, both of these are waiting to the last second, 90, 100, 100, 100, 90, 100, 100, 100, 90 would you bid 100, could you give 100, could you go 100, 100, 110, and 110, and 110, 100, 110, and 110, and 110, 100, 110, 110, now 120, 120, 120, 110, now 120, 120, 120, 110, would you bid 120, could you go 120, could you go 120, 110, now 120, 120, 120, 110, now 120, 120, 120, 120, now 130, 130, 130, 120, 130, 130, 130. Take it. 130 now, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, which bid 140, could you go 140, could you go 140, 130, 140, 140, 140, 130, 140, 140, 150, 150, 150, 140, 150, 150, 150, 140, which bid 150, could you give 150, could you go 150, 140, 150, 150, 150, 140, 150, 150, 150, 140, 150, 150, 150, 140, which you bid 150, could you go 150, could you go 150, all in, all done. 150 now, 160, 160, 160, 150, 160, 160, 160. Damn it. 150, which you bid 160, could you go 160, could you go 160, 150, 160, 160, 170. We're going to have to swap. I need a break. 160, 170, 170, 170, 160, 170, 170, 170. 160, which you bid 170, could you go 170, could you go 170, all in, all done. 160 now, 170 going once. 160 now, 170 going twice. Last call. And we sold it $160 to the bid square bidder.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.